welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another herptile video. Hopefully the start of a series. It might be a little bit of an infrequent series, but a series about keeping native herps as well as keeping them in outdoor enclosures. It's the way to go, and here in the UK, I'm not sure where you are, but here in the UK it's definitely a movement that's starting to build momentum. And why not? Why not indeed? With the prices of electricity and power this last 12 months going through the ceiling, many people have been getting rid of their animals and their collections, downsizing, breeding less animals and so on and so forth, because the electricity prices have actually made it prohibitively expensive, certainly for some people. The amount of heating and lighting many of our charges require to keep at optimum health and be in perfect condition and enjoy their lives can really be affected by the cost of keeping them. These people that are now starting to specialise in outdoor enclosures and native herps, why not? The sun in the sky, the perfect amount of UVB, the perfect amount of heat if you build your enclosures correctly, and it's free, absolutely free. And if you're working with outdoor enclosures, something you're really going to gain is, for most people, I know I'm sort of generalising, but most people with a garden, you've got way more space outside than you have in your house for most people. So a 6 foot by 4 foot enclosure in your house takes up a huge amount of space in a room. It's quite a small area in most gardens. You can even get a whole greenhouse in that space, heated, and keep reptiles from further afield than maybe the UK, from Europe and things like that. I actually wish sometimes that I actually haven't got some of the iconic snakes that I've got, that I've wanted all my life, because I won't part with them. But if I did it all again, I think I'd consider actually specialising in native or relatively local to Britain animals in outdoor enclosures. So we're going to look at different things over this series, but for now, series, number one in the series, I went up to see Lee Brinley at UK CRESTED NEWTS. Just have a look, just enjoy the video for what it is, just a window into keeping something absolutely stunning. UK CRESTED NEWTS, he breeds all kinds of these animals, and this is the key. Now people are working with them, it's much better and much easier to get these animals captive bred, and that's what we all want to do. The laws where you live vary. Here in the UK, many species can be collected from the wild without any licence and kept in captivity. But of course, if everyone does that, that's going to be going back to the bad old days when animals start to become scarce due to the pet trade, and none of us want that anymore. Some great captive stock out there, and Lee's working with colour morphs for those of you that love your morphs and breeding morphs of different things, whether it's snakes or amphibians. So just enjoy this video for what it is. Just enjoy the beauty of great crested newts, rivaling any tropical fish, any marine fish, any amphibian or reptile from any part of the world. Stunning animals, incredibly easy to maintain, not too difficult to breed, and you know what, almost free to keep. Why do we hanker after the stuff that's from somewhere else? Something we can't get easily, something that's rare in the hobby or rare in the wild, when wherever you live in the world, there's probably some fantastic herps that you can keep, work with, captive breed. We're all crazy people. Enjoy the video and enjoy other ones in this series as they come along. So we're here finally at Lee Brinley's place. There he is, look. What a handsome guy. And a musician as well.
Barely.
But look at all this stuff. Lee really is, when it comes to great crested newts, morphs and species and subspecies, I think he is the king. And his passion as well is actually frogs, common frogs now.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Early with
anything European, really, but that's,
yeah, but you can't have it all, can you, Lee? You can't have it all. You've got to specialise, haven't you?
I think so. I think so, yeah. The best way of doing it.
I think you're doing that, aren't you?
Yeah, you can easily have too big a collection, I think, but...
And what I really envy Lee for is his common sense. All of these enclosures, no heating. No heating. Why didn't I go down that road? Is anyone else working with common frogs in the UK of morphs and colours?
No, not that I'm aware of. No. So yeah, all the animals have come from the UK, from wild animals. And yeah, it's something that a lot of people seem interested when they see them.
Yeah.
They see them out there.
I think it's the future, isn't it?
Yeah,
with electricity and that kind of thing.
I think the big problem when you take the albinos and that from the wild and you breed them, you get normal looking offspring. So people aren't really bothered with them and they let them go. And they don't realise you've got to produce the heterozygous offspring, breed them together.
We're not patient as humans, are we?
Yeah, it takes at least 2 years to get to maturity as well. So it's
most of the snake breeders, they're looking at 3 or 4 years, aren't they? Every time they've got to grow something on to produce a morph or something. But I do think it's the way to go. So Lee's lucky at the moment. He hasn't got any competition, so he scours social media for someone that says, there's a bright blue frog turned up in my pond, or one with polka dots or something. And hence today, he is literally doing a 7-hour, is that right? 7-hour round trip to get some frog spawn for some...
Yeah.
So, as I said earlier, amphibian keepers, they're a crazy bunch.
If you wondered what the coloured dots on the tanks represent, it's this, a distribution map for the genus Tritoris.
The newts are floating just to make sure they cool down to this cool water temperature. They've been in my van now for 48 hours, or certainly not in my van all that time, but they've been in their little travel box in the cool. But I would imagine they've warmed up more than this water temperature. So have a look at this. I'm going to flip you around. Here's the smaller male. Here he is. This one's got albino genes in him. He's het for albino. Bless them, even in that short time, their crests have gone down. Let's see them in their full glory soon enough. But there we are, following on from last week's trip to collect these guys. Little stone-filled food bags in his aquariums, and you think, well, that's not very naturalistic, is it? Got some weeds and plants, and then we've got a plastic bag. They actually lay their eggs on relatively broad-leaved water plants. They'll lay their eggs on anything great crested newts, but they're certainly in captivity, and you know what, in the wild, in sort of litter-filled ponds, they've actually known to do the same thing. They really like to squash their eggs onto plastic bags. It's like a really broad-leaf, squishy plant leaf. And of course, you can move them if need be, easily in one go, lots of eggs in one place, to a rearing container. So that's why that's in there. It's just a really useful tool for breeding great crested newts and other crested newts, European species, in captivity. It works well, so, you know, do what the expert does. We're going to have lots of eggs on there that we can move out should we need to before they hatch, and rear them separately. The adults don't seem too keen on eating the eggs, but they will. If there's not a lot of plants and such like, they will eat their offspring. Thanks for watching this little taster, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Click subscribe, and then you're going to see, as and when they come, any more in this series and the other reptile videos on the channel. Really appreciate that. Thanks, everyone.